Less than a week after learning about a new study that warned of a runaway global warming effect, Chairman Tom Perez announced a new rule in order to reverse the DNC's 2-month ban on fossil fuel contributions. And guess what? The DNC adopted it. So as Jessica Corbett of Common Dreams reports, just 2 months after the Democratic National Committee was celebrated by environmentalists for banning donations from fossil fuel companies, it voted 30-2 on Friday to adopt a resolution from Chair Tom Perez that critics said effectively reverses the ban and represents an absolute failure by the DNC. As climate reporter Kate Aronoff outlined in a series of tweets, Perez's resolution is premised on the party's support for unions, but ultimately will enable fossil fuel executives to use their money to try to influence Democrats. The unanimously approved original resolution, which requires the DNC to reject corporate PAC contributions from the fossil fuel industry, was spearheaded by Christine Pelosi, the daughter of Democratic House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi, and a member of the DNC's executive committee. Christine Pelosi tried Friday to pressure the committee to remove the language in Perez's resolution, which undermines the ban on corporate PAC donations, but her proposal was voted down 28-4. And in a tweet, she later explained, to be clear, DNC staff and officers never consulted me on language to reverse my resolution banning corporate fossil fuel PAC money, and now they said they have to keep the resolution as is because of all the work we did. 4 yes votes, 28 no votes, so my motion to ban PAC money fails. So understand that the DNC finally does something praiseworthy, and we give them credit where it's due, and 2 months later, they reverse it. Why? Because it's likely the case that when they voted on this ban for corporate PAC money from fossil fuel companies, they immediately received a lot of pressure from these companies that do want to donate to the Democratic Party and the DNC specifically. And of course, because Tom Perez is a corporate tool, he immediately caved to that pressure. Now, it's the case that Democrats in general, they take less money from the fossil fuel industry than Republicans, but Jen Yuger made this point on TYT, and it's a great point. The reason why they still give money to Democrats is because they're trying to buy complacency, even if it's the case that they won't be able to get Democrats and DNC members in particular to lie about climate change being a hoax, as they get Republicans to do quite frequently. It still disincentivizes Democrats from taking any sort of action whatsoever, because if they're giving them money and Democrats, the DNC in particular, like that money, then they know that they will lose out on said money if they choose to speak out and take action against climate change and actually try to curtail the power exerted over our government by these fossil fuel companies. So really, this is absolutely ridiculous, and it's quite disgusting, to be frank, because, I mean, at a time when we don't know what's going to happen with the human species as a result of our negligence with regard to climate change, we should be doing everything in our power to curtail the fossil fuel industry's influence. But Tom Perez spearheaded this effort, and he got what he wanted. Now, the DNC spokesperson contends that this reversal was all done at the behest of workers, and it wasn't done because they want to be more corrupt. And as Kate Aronoff of The Intercept explains, DNC spokesperson Zodal Hinojosa said the decision was made after hearing concerns from labor that this was an attack on workers. This resolution acknowledges the generous contributions of workers, including those in energy, who organize and donate to Democratic candidates. And only an idiot would buy that excuse, because that's all it is. It's an excuse. What this is about is allowing fossil fuel companies to donate unlimited sums of dark money through PACs. That's what this is about. And even if it's the case that they got some union leaders to come out against this ban, well, in reality, we all know that this was about corruption and not workers. So in effect, the DNC just used organized labor as an excuse to preserve the right of fossil fuel corporations to freely donate and peddle influence within the Democratic Party. Labor higher-ups may well have strong-armed Perez into writing the resolution, but it's also a convenient cover for some Democrats to continue courting relationships with fossil fuel donors who, suffice to say, likely aren't the hardscrabble fossil fuel workers Perez Perez's proposal references. So Tom Perez did this because he's nothing more than a corporate tool. He's nothing more than a conduit with which corporate influence flows from outside to within the DNC. That's all this is about. And he's going to go on cable news if they even decide to press him on this, and he'll cite that bullshit excuse that we did this for workers. We couldn't harm workers, and we listened to the industry, we listened to workers, we listened to union leaders, and we decided to take their advice and reverse this ban on fossil fuel contributions. And he might even deny that this effectively reverses the ban on fossil fuel contributions. He might deny that because these corporate tools, they always try to word things in a way that gives them enough wiggle room to try to deflect. But we all know what this is about. Tom Perez is a corporate tool. He's shown that time and time and time again. So, because he continuously spits in our faces, here's what we need to do. We need to sign the petition to get Tom Perez removed and to call on him to resign. And this petition now has the support of 10,000 individuals who believe he is not fit to serve at the head of the DNC. So, this honestly isn't surprising, but I am a little bit surprised, to be honest, that they reversed this ban that quickly, because you'd think that they try to do something this sleazy, maybe not that fast, right? I mean, just 2 months after they passed this ban on fossil fuel contributions, you'd want to wait if you're trying not to, rouse suspicion. But Tom Perez doesn't give a damn. He's shameless, and yet he'll go on corporate media with a big, huge smile on his face, and he'll do his little thumb pointing thing, and he'll pretend like he's this nice guy, and he's just looking out for the workers and, the labor unions, when in actuality, he's a corporate tool, he's a puppet, and that's all he's ever going to be. So, since he can't represent us, we've got to get his ass out of the DNC. Sign the petition. It may not have an effect, but at least make your voice heard at a minimum.
Support this podcast by becoming a patron at patreon.com/Humanist Report.